Hello, everybody. Very quick video. I don't know whether this has been mentioned before. It's hardly fucking groundbreaking news, but there's no video titled this on the internet. I was going over the footage because I was going to record a different video, which you might see later. But I noticed something because I was flicking through this episode, which is obviously, you know, it's up there with The Empire Strikes Back, this piece of entertainment, but as an overall show. I noticed something about the Mcphetridge footage. Just check this out.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Well,
I mean, obviously, you see the reaction there from when...
Well, yeah, I understand
from
that,
when Chris
but...
walks in.
yeah, I won't force you to do anything,
I wouldn't mind the uncut footage to this.
sweetheart.
So I hate to be
I mean, obviously, there's that reaction, but Luke at his right foot
the bearer of bad news.
in a minute.
Well, I wasn't
I
going to
mean,
do
you've got... I mean, he's obviously shit. You know what I mean? But check out his... Check this
nothing
out.
I'm going to do it.
Look at his foot.
No,
Why don't you tell me what your plan was tonight?
I didn't bring nothing with me.
Fucking hell,
Well,
He's absolutely shitting it.
I wasn't going to do nothing.
You weren't going to do anything.
No.
Why don't you tell me what your plan was tonight?
I did.
He's absolutely fucking terrified. I've never picked up on that before. I just thought it was interesting. I mean, obviously, you've seen the Mcphetridge interview is brilliant. It's the videos on that I've done that have had the most views on my old channel. For it had like hundreds of thousands of views. So it's a interesting interview, just how he completely avoids any responsibility and tries to worm his way out of it, and that he wouldn't have done anything wrong. But why is he so scared, terrified? I mean, he's been in that situation before, as we know, kind of bizarre, fucking complicated story that he tells. But check this out, though.
Well, I wasn't going to do nothing.
You weren't going to do anything.
Starts
No.
there,
Why don't you tell me
close-
what your plan was tonight?
I didn't bring nothing with me. I didn't
Might as
do
well watch
nothing
the
bad,
rest of the footage, haven't we? Go on, unless it gets struck down.
and I would never force nobody to do anything.
Have you know what's interesting about that bit there? How he kind of, I wouldn't do nothing bad. I wasn't going to do anything bad. It's like he's trying to justify his actions by. He knows what he was doing was bad, because if you didn't think there was anything wrong, you wouldn't immediately jump to saying, "Oh, I wasn't going to do anything bad." He's trying to manipulate Chris into thinking that because he wouldn't have done anything against anybody's will, that he wouldn't have done anything wrong. He's quite a dangerous guy. I think it was one of the worst parts of any chat log I've ever read is when Mcphetridge says, "I want to get you drunk so I can do what I want to you." Without, I can't remember how he worded it exactly, but basically he pointed to the fact that he was going to get her drunk so that she'd wake up and didn't know what had happened to her and she was sore. That really, like, it makes me feel physically sick now thinking about it. It's just this. It's like the deepest corner, darkest, should I say, the darkest corner of human nature, in my opinion. That
Against their will, sir.
But you did bring some things with you tonight.
I brought a razor.
A razor.
I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't. I find that amusing. It's just, it's just quite comical because it's like, there's. This is what I love about TCAT. From 1 minute I'm feeling physically sick, and then the next minute I'm in hysterics because it's like, what have you brought with you today? A razor. It's like, well, would you care to explain why you brought that razor? It's like he's just said something that there's no getting out of. He can't say, well, I needed to shave my beard. Well, it's like, let's look at what you said in the chat log about wanting to shave her down there.
What were you going to do with the razor?
I thought she wanted to be shaved down there.
It's just so funny. How the fuck can you get away with that? Oh my god, is his foot still going?
And I thought she said she was 17 or something.
I've got the transcript right here.
I believe that, sir. And
Right.
He was told online she was 13 and even referred to her young age several times, wishing she was 5 years older. And as for all the explicit sex talk,
I was trying to see if I could find out if that was a cop, or so I didn't waste the.
Well, it sounds
their
like-
time.
What the fuck are you going on about, dude? You trying to find out if she was a cop? So in other words, I was trying to find out if I was going to get stitched up or not. I think the thing is with Dustin, he's just not very bright either. You know what I mean?
It sounds like what you're trying to see.
And, you know, Chris is talking down to him. He's trying to go down to his level like when you talk to a child, you know, with the softly spoken. It seems here that what you're trying to... Because I think he looks at Dustin as somebody who's underdeveloped, and not just because of his physical disability, but the way he talks. I think it's something that Dustin plays on. I think, he isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but I reckon he's not mentally retarded or anything. And I think that he plays upon his disability for sympathy, and it creates this persona, this downtrodden persona of kind of using it to manipulate reality, to try and make himself a victim of life. You know, it's really interesting. Just to digress a little bit, I've been watching the trials of Oscar Pistorius. It's on BBC iPlayer. Well, I don't know whether you've got access to that in the States, but just in case you're not aware, I'm sure you'll have heard of him. He's the Paralympian who shot his girlfriend, and killed her. And the program points to the fact that living with that disability is so traumatic, with obviously numerous other effects. You know, I'm not talking about just that, because there's obviously plenty of people that live with disabilities that don't turn into murderers, so don't, you know. But it just points to the fact that dealing with that disability, unless handled in a very strict way, can be disastrous. It's such a challenge to have that kind of disability, and to be different, and to, you know, there's obviously many people, like I said, there's many people that don't deal with that way. I think that what I'm trying to say is that Dustin has a massive disability in life. He's been dealt a difficult hand, but the way he deals with it, it's the makings of a monster. You know, you have a choice in life. Do you want to be the best version of yourself that you can be, or do you want to turn into that monstrosity?
Is if you could score with a 13-year-old girl.
And these just, well, there you go. Chris has just said it perfectly there, hasn't he?
no, sir.
I mean, have
No,
you
sir. No, sir.
chatted online with underage girls before?
Quite honestly, I had one time before.
A young girl.
Yeah.
he says he was chatting with a 14-year-old girl, and the girl's mother's boyfriend was a cop who found out about it and wanted to press charges.
It never went to trial. I apologized, and everybody.
Did you plead guilty or no contest?
We didn't go to court. It was just over the phone, and like, hey, I'm sorry. This is why.
I wouldn't have cut the mustard with a lot of people. I'm sorry for trying to sleep with your child.
Said that.
Was it a scary situation to you?
Yeah.
Did you learn your lesson?
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem so tonight.
And I didn't. Like I said, I wouldn't do nothing bad.
Well, what? I wouldn't do nothing bad, dude. It's very frustrating listening to him, because he has this kind of, let's say, charming exterior. But if you was going to talk to him in a normal situation, you were going to come across him in the grocery store, or something like that, then you'd obviously feel sympathy being a human being for someone who has that disability. But the way he speaks, his mannerisms are quite pleasant. There's no aggression that comes from him. So it's kind of a conflicting kind of guy, really, because you start a stereotypical version of some child predator. You know, is someone who's got, like Lorna, who's got unpleasant mannerisms about him, sort of abusive, bad language, kind of aggressive, you know, just that. But he's kind of like childlike in his mannerisms, but yet inside lurks a monster.
Say, I want to make love to you. Have you ever seen people have sex?
It's just
Then
curiosity.
you send her a picture of people having sex.
I thought she asked for it.
She asked for it. She didn't ask for it. You sent it to her. And even if she did, I mean, you're not supposed to be sending stuff like that to somebody who says they're 13.
But instead of taking responsibility, he tries to blame it all on the decoy.
She was wanting me to come up here and see her so bad, and
Oh my God! So he's trying to now make out that it's because he's a good guy. You know what I mean? It's kind of what Lorne does in a way. You know, it's a lot. I mean, it's what a lot of people do. They'll try and mask, even though they know deep down that they're riddled with guilt. Well, they don't subconsciously, but not consciously. It's like, I've been reading a book. In fact, here it is at the side of me. I'll tell you. It's called "Letting Go: The Pathway of Surrender" by David R. Hawkins, and it talks about how there is more suppressed guilt inside of us than we ever realise, and that guilt will manifest in various ways. And that's really what karma is, really. Every human being, unless you're, some are totally lost, but most humans, when they do something bad, will have that guilt inside them, and that lives in you. And it will manifest in certain ways and sabotage certain aspects of your life. So there's no getting away from it. That's really what karma is. There's nothing specifically magical about it, although there is forces at work that we can't, that we haven't really got awareness to understand yet.
I didn't want to
And it'll be the same with this guy. This is why he because she wanted to see me so bad because it's like deflecting it, isn't it? He's I did this because I'm a great person, it was like, dude, you know what I mean? Get a grip.
Point her.
You're a grown man.
I know.
What do you think should happen to you?
Don't know. I don't.
Oh, and there comes, I don't know. He's pathetic, isn't he? He's pathetic. I always try, even when I've done videos about him in the past, I've always tried to hold back a little bit on my criticisms of him as a person for a couple of reasons. One is I don't like to spread hate because it's not useful in any way. You don't want to carry that around with you. The best way of dealing with it is you've got to feel sorry for these people, and I don't mean feel sorry for them in that, I know, let's give them a hug. It's like, imagine what kind of life it must be to be like that. Imagine how how it must feel, and how the true gifts that life can give you, friendship, love, creativity, enjoy, nature, things like that, and not, this guy won't enjoy those things. This is what people like this are too fucking stupid to understand, is that life isn't about getting laid and there's nothing wrong with it. Kind of is. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not about fulfilling your darkest, deepest sexual need. What will happen is, if you are the best version of yourself that you can be, all that will be added onto you. It comes to you when you don't need it. It's like a paradox, really.
Well, there's something I got to tell you. I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet young teens online for sex.
It's all wrong in my part.
I think he kind of feels relieved there. There's a little bit of relief in his face. I believe it's because he thinks that, it's a TV crew, I'm not going to prison. So he kind of feels like he's let off the hook, and I think that happens with a lot of these guys. And, it's like here, it's wrong on my part.
But she led me on a little.
She led me on a little too. It's kind of a famous line in the TCAT world, isn't it? Oh my God, dude. It's great to get the uncut version of this, wouldn't it?
food.
Uncut with Dustin, no pun intended. Or pun intended, should I say.
And I understand both ways.
I mean, she's not driving the train here. You're the grown-up.
I know.
You get that, right?
Yeah, that's stupid on my part.
Stupid. It's not stupid, dude. He's only saying stupid. Stupid is fucking having another beer in the pub when you're in work the day after. You know what I mean? When you shouldn't do, and you know it's time to go home and go to bed. That's stupid. Stupid isn't fucking trying to sleep with a 13-year-old girl when you're that thing.
As he heads for the door, Dustin doesn't seem to know that officers from the Warren County Sheriff's Office are waiting to arrest him.
I mean, do they really need that many people for this guy?
Dustin, just take a step out, okay? Take a step out.
Okay. Okay.
Because of his disability, officers are careful taking him into custody.
Yeah, I mean, some might argue that they should beat him with his own cane, but anyway, yeah, I thought it was interesting to look at this footage. Again, like I said, it was just accidental to come across his trembling foot, which I thought was interesting. And I don't think I've ever gone over this footage in any detail before. Because, I mean, this might get fucking taken down. They don't seem to, NBC or whoever it is, they don't seem to be quite as strict as they used to be on taking the T-Crap footage down. So, we'll see what happens. Yeah, so guys, thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.